What retail events should I attend this year? That's the question I get asked all the time. Attending industry events is a great opportunity to connect with other industry professionals and exchange ideas, learn about trends, and discover new technologies that can shape your business. I've been to many of them, and I have my favorite ones. And in today's episode, I'll tell you what events I think you should attend in 2025 and why. Here's Paula Macadi, and this is episode 52 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. It's that time of the year again when week after week there's a new retail conference to attend, and it's also just the beginning of 2025, when many decisions are going to be made at these events. Also, as we're starting a new season of the show, we're beginning new things such as our newsletter, which you can subscribe to and get additional information about each episode every week in your inbox. Link is in the show notes. I'm a big believer that we learn a lot from each other's experiences, and that's the reason I created OFFBounds. The conferences are a special part of any industry ecosystem because you can do all that in person. You can learn from other businesses' success and find the right partners to move your organization forward. And as we start off January, that is probably the most important retail event, in my opinion. It's in New York and it's in horrible weather conditions because it's way too cold. But for me, it's the equivalent to Oscar for the movie industry. I'm talking about the National Retail Federation's big show, or you may just call it NRF, which this year is happening from January 12th to 14th. This episode is being published on the 14th, so technically, I'm there, getting all the information you need to know about this year's event, and I will publish the recap a few weeks from now. The first NRF started in 1911, and today it has become a huge event with more than 800 exhibitors and almost 40,000 attendees from all over the world. Despite the cold, this centenary event is extremely valuable for the content. Although they tend to be very American-focused, there are lots of interesting topics being discussed simultaneously by many leaders that shape the industry of the largest economy in the world. So it's important to plan accordingly what topics you want to learn about and from whom. The show floor is also very interesting, and that's where you will learn more about what new products tech companies are releasing. They have two floors of exhibitors. The ground floor that has the bigger booths with larger tech companies, and the floor below that has smaller companies that tend to be super innovators. As well as the Innovation Lab, where startups are exhibiting their products, and that's probably my favorite area, as there are always things we had no idea that could be possible. But probably the best part of NRF is everything that is happening around it. If you are a retailer or media like me, you will be invited to several events, from breakfast to store tours, happy hours, dinners, cocktail parties, and even after hours. It can be intense, and for me, it really is. But this week is the week that will set what will happen for the rest of the year. So if you go, wear comfortable shoes, drink lots of water, and enjoy it. And that's not your only chance to enjoy NRF in 2025. In its 114 years of existence, it was last year they decided to go international with their NRF APAC edition, which will happen again from June 3rd to June 5th in Singapore. I was there and talked about all my impressions on episode 27, which I'll add here in the show notes. This year, NRF APAC is getting bigger, expecting 10,000 attendees from the region that is the growth engine of the world. The event will be covering 13 main topics that includes data, sustainability, cross-border, China, and a lot more. If you want to learn more about APAC as a region, this is the show to go. And it didn't stop there. NRF is running its first show in Europe in 2025. It will happen in Paris this September. And even though I don't have many details about the event, I know I'll be there because NRF never disappoints. And I'm hopeful that soon enough there will be an NRF Latam. But enough of NRF. After New York, our next event will be in February in Düsseldorf, Germany, where I go every year to check the latest innovations in retail technology at EuroCIS. Unlike most events we'll talk about, EuroCIS is a trade show focused on retail technology. So every 3 years, there's a bigger event called EuroShop, which is the largest event I've ever been. same size as 17 football fields. And it has everything you can imagine about retail, from design to fridge to mannequins and, of course, technology. And EuroShop will happen again in 2026. But as technology evolves so quickly, they have a smaller event focused only on technology, and that is EuroCIS, which will happen from 18th to 20th of February. What I like about this event is that it is really focused on the trade. So it's about buyers and sellers doing business. Because of that, I don't think it's really necessary to go all 3 days to the event. 1 or 2 is what I do now. Especially the first one to discover who are the winners of the RET Awards, which is an award that is given to the best technology application in retail. And as it happens in Düsseldorf, you don't really need to book a hotel near the event. Any hotel near the subway U78 will take you directly to the venue. And the train is the best way to get there. Also, being Düsseldorf gives you the opportunity to visit the best grocery store called Edeka Zurheide that is so incredible that it even has a champagne bar right there. So let's go to March. Let's go to Vegas. On March 25th, there is the first of one of the most iconic events in the industry, Shoptalk. Shoptalk Spring is the first of the 4 worth-going Shoptalk events in 2025. While most events tend to be very business-like with white walls and bright light, all Shoptalk events are super joyful, proving that we can have fun while closing deals. Another thing that makes all the Shoptalk events stand out is their meetups, which work like speed dating, connecting retailers and brands to solution providers. Before the event, there's a software where you select the type of businesses you're interested in meeting, and voila! Once both parties agree, there's a 15-minute meeting is scheduled to connect. It's the only industry event I've been to that has this approach, and I love it. Shoptalk has 4 events. Shoptalk Spring in Vegas, and it addresses the North American market and is the biggest of all of them and goes from March 25th to 27th. Later in June, there is Shoptalk Europe, which obviously, as the name says, addresses the European market and happens in beautiful Barcelona. No event on earth has better food than Shoptalk Europe. In September, there is Shoptalk Fall in Chicago, the best time of the year to visit the city. And the event addresses all phases of retail transformation. And finally, Grocery Shop, which happens in Vegas later in September and covers grocery. By the way, OFFBounds is a partner of Shoptalk, and I can't recommend them enough. In April, I usually go to the UK to enjoy the Retail Technology Show, and it is very UK-oriented content. And I love it because you get to know more of their ecosystem, of this region that is so advanced. Every year I attended, there were more and more people around. And in 2025, they are upgrading to a much bigger venue at Excel London. The event will take place on the 2nd and 3rd of April, and tickets are free. Now, if you haven't been to LATAM yet and want an opportunity, in June there is VTEX Day, which is one of the largest e-commerce events in the world, and it happens every year in São Paulo, Brazil. The event combines both incredible content, interesting technologies, and Brazilian charisma. After my visit last year, I talked about my learnings on episode 20, also in the show notes. One of the cool things about the event is that they always have an impressive headliner. Last year it was Malala, and the year before it was Gisele Bündchen, and even Obama had been on the stage. Aside from the incredible content, by the end of the event, there's this huge concert where everyone, after spending 2 days, you still have the energy to enjoy it. So it's so worth it. These are the ones that I've attended and truly recommend. But there are others that I'm still looking forward to go that were highly recommended, such as World Retail Congress, which every year happens in a different country in Europe, and in 2025 it will be in London in May. Retail Summit in Dubai, that happens in November. Tech for Retail, which is a big retail technology event for the French market, that also happens in November. So for you to not get confused, I'll tell you now in chronological order. So in January, there's NIF Big Show in New York. In February, there's EuroCIS in Düsseldorf, Germany. In March, there's Shoptalk Spring in Las Vegas. In April, there's Retail Technology Show in London. And in May, World Retail Congress, also in London. In June, there are many: Shoptalk Europe, NRF APAC, and VTEX Day, all happening simultaneously. So you have to pick one. There's some time off for the summer, then we are all back in September with NRF Europe in Paris, Shoptalk Fall in Chicago, and Grocery Shop. And in November, there's the Retail Summit in Dubai and Tech for Retail in Paris. These are my recommendations for 2025, and if you think I forgot any conference that should be mentioned here, reach out to me on LinkedIn. In the next few episodes, we'll talk about everything that we learned directly from New York. See you next Tuesday.